Hi, my name is Stephen Crocker. I'm a senior majoring in management at West Texas A&M University. Today, I will unlock the secrets of the universe for you. Okay. What I have to talk about today isn't quite that big, but it is an important topic. And knowing how to shine in the face of this topic will help you. Today, we are going to talk about the interview process, specifically the very end of the interview. Almost every interview wraps up with the same question. Do you have any questions for us? I've been the supervisor of my department for almost 6 years now, and I've had the opportunity to be involved in numerous interviews. I always ask this question. For me, a red flag instantly goes up when a candidate indicates that they don't have any questions. I refuse to believe that you, as a candidate, fully understand and know every aspect of the job, the company, and what it's like to work at the company. It also leads me to believe that you didn't do any research into the job and or company and makes me feel like you aren't really that interested in joining our team. Rather, you just want or need a job. And that's okay too. But just be prepared. Here's my tip to you, which may prove to be worth more than gold. Always ask questions. It is critically important that you understand that an interview is meant to be bidirectional. It's their opportunity to assess you and your opportunity to assess them. There is no rule that states that you have to simply sit there and answer their questions without asking any of your own. The interview is meant to be a process of discovery for both parties. By asking the right questions, you are in a better position to determine how you will fit into the culture of the company. And fit is important since you'll be spending 40 plus hours a week there. So what's the big deal? Why is asking your own questions so important during the interview? Francis Burks discusses the importance of asking questions in a Houston Chronicle article and states, quote, "Asking insightful questions during the job interview can put you ahead of other applicants and lead to an offer. The questions you ask also help you evaluate each employer and determine which ones are a good match for you," end quote. Furthermore, she highlights that asking questions hits upon 4 specific areas: job interest, fitting in, assessing supervisors, and company culture. Let's briefly look at each in turn. The first area is job interest. You need to be fully prepared for hiring managers to finish up the interview process by asking if you have any questions. Your questions, or lack of them, send signals to managers which they use to gauge your interest in the position. You risk looking disinterested in the job and the company if you don't ask questions when given the opportunity to do so. That apparent lack of interest could cost you a job if the manager thinks you lack enthusiasm and motivation. The second area concerns fitting in, and asking questions helps evaluate how well you would fit in at the company. Interviewers, for example, consider if your questions demonstrate that you understand what the company does. Your questions also reveal whether you are a good fit for the area where you would potentially work. It's important to do your homework, research the company, and especially the job, and create questions that seek to understand how you can fit into both. The third area is your opportunity to assess the supervisor or other superior who you will report to. The questions you ask your potential supervisors can reveal what it's like to work with them. Pay attention to supervisors who answer questions by spending a significant amount of time discussing their own accomplishments. Such responses may signify that they aren't team players who acknowledge the work of their subordinates. Lastly, asking questions provides you an opportunity to assess the company culture. Take note of interviewers who don't give you direct answers to your questions. Evasive answers may be a sign of poor communication and a lack of guidance throughout the company that would persist if you were hired. Watch for an upbeat attitude when supervisors and other employees answer your questions about their company. A lack of enthusiasm may mean morale is low within the business. Asking your own questions during the interview is such a big deal that Cassia Mackey, a senior consultant at Change Recruitment Group, says, quote, "One of the worst mistakes that you can make in an interview is to utter either one of these responses when asked if you have any questions. No, you've answered everything, thanks, or I'm sure I had some questions, I can't think of any just now," end quote. Remember when I said that a lack of questions is, for me, a red flag? Well, Miss Mackey feels the same way too. As I stated earlier, there is no way you know everything about the job and the company, which makes "no, you've answered everything" a completely rubbish answer. You are being presented with an opportunity to shine and demonstrate that you have done your research for this moment above and beyond reading the job description and looking over the website. Research the company from the perspective of current news and ask questions about how recent news has or may impact the company. Most companies also have a news section on their website. Dive into this and find some content that interests you. Ask how these events impact the job you are applying for. If the company is experiencing growth or even struggling, ask how you can contribute to success in the role you are applying for. Hiring managers love these types of questions and may leave them thinking, "What can I say? You're a genius!" Regardless of the questions you decide to ask, the key is that you are prepared to ask something. I recommend having a list of questions prepared before you walk into the interview. As Miss Mackey states, while the answer to "do you have any questions" may seem like a minor part of the interview, it is the last impression that you will leave before walking out the door or hanging up the phone. So make sure that it is a good one. At this point, we have identified why it is so important to ask questions during the interview. However, you may be wondering, what questions do I ask? This is the easy part. Thousands of articles can be found online by simply typing "questions to ask at an interview." Let's take a look at some standard questions that are great to have on hand and ready to ask. What do you think are the most important qualities for someone to excel in this role? As Pamela Skillings writes, this question can often lead to valuable information that's not in the job description. It can help you learn about the company culture and expectations so you can show that you are a good fit. What are your expectations for this role during the first 30 days, 60 days, first year? This does two things. It helps you determine what is expected of you and shows the hiring manager that you are already thinking about how to perform successfully. Describe the company culture. Again, Pamela Skillings states, "Are you a good fit for this particular organization? Make sure you are comfortable with the culture and the dynamic of the company." What do you like best about working for this company? This question helps you understand the interviewer's own experiences and uncovers additional insight into the company's culture. What are the company's values? What characteristics do you look for in employees in order to represent those values? Okay, do your homework on this one. Familiarize yourself with the company's mission, vision, value statement, and use it to your advantage. For example, if an aspect of the values statement says something like empowering our employees, blah, 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 then ask, I understand that an aspect of your values statement lists empowering our employees to blah, blah, blah. Can you discuss what steps you take to empower your employees to achieve success? Furthermore, as Caroline Gray discusses, this question allows you to gain insight into what is most important for the company as a whole and what it values in the individuals who work there. What does success look like in this position, and how do you measure it? Again, as Ms. Gray discusses, it is important for you to have a clear understanding of how your performance will be evaluated. There's nothing as frustrating as thinking you are doing an outstanding job only to later discover that you weren't, simply because the expectations were not clearly expressed and/or understood. What do you see as the most challenging aspects of this job? Having a clear understanding of the positive aspects of the job is only half the equation. It is important to also understand any aspects of the job which may present issues. This provides you with a more comprehensive overview of the job in its entirety, not just the shiny bits. The key to success is to start before you're ready. Today we have discussed an important component of any interview. Do you have any questions for us? We have identified why you need to have questions to ask, as well as how to create questions before the interview. We have discussed some standard questions that will help you shine in any interview. In closing, I want to encourage you with this. Before you're ready for the interview, do your homework. Learn as much about the role and the company as you can. Once you have a solid understanding of these, begin creating the questions you will ask. Write them down and take them with you. When the time comes to ask them, you'll be ready. The key to success is to start before you're ready. Thank you for your time today, and best wishes to you.